I've been making YouTube videos daily for over a month now. Today is day 34 in a row, and I've been afraid of looking stupid the whole time. For a long time, I have barely put out any content. I've had social media accounts for 20 plus years at this point, or maybe exactly 20 years actually, because Facebook was the first, and I think I joined in 2004 when it first came out. Yeah, so 20 years now, and it's a long time and barely have put out any content, and just was afraid of looking stupid. And I think that a lot of people, this is holding a lot of people back. Some sort of fear is holding people back from putting themselves out there, whether it's content on social media or in other areas of life. And because I'm like overcoming it as we speak, I wanted to put this video together to explore how I did it, how I'm doing it, and just other strategies that people can use to get themselves out there. But there's going to be much more about internal than external strategies. So let's jump in. What I discovered about a year ago during a hypnotherapy session is that I have been avoiding the spotlight because of a trauma that I experienced in the first grade. And it didn't actually even happen to me. It was something that happened to another kid in my first grade class. I just witnessed it. And basically he got so embarrassed, all the attention was on him. All the kids were looking at him. He got so embarrassed that he left the school and never came back. And because I witnessed this as a kid, I internalized the message that if I were to be in the spotlight, if all the attention was on me, then I would be embarrassed and banished from the tribe, which instinctually means death, because we survived and evolved in tribes, right? That message and the fear of the potential consequences of bringing the attention to me, that persisted throughout my whole child and adult life. And basically I became a screenwriter and director, and I didn't want to become an actor because I didn't want to be the attention on me. And it would play out socially as well. Like I would be just at a party or something. I would be in the corner on the wall, maybe like whispering jokes to my friends, but no one would really know that I was there because I kept out of the spotlight. And so anyway, so this is something that's persisted. And when it came to trying to build some kind of personal brand on social media through content, obviously, the way that this would manifest, because as an adult, I don't want to admit to myself that I'm scared to make content. I'm an adult, I'm a man, I'm not scared. And so the way that I would rationalize it was that before I could put out content, I needed to figure out the perfect content strategy, the perfect personal brand. And then once I figured it out, then I would put out content. And so what that looked like is basically that I just kept working on it. I kept reiterating, kept changing. I'd make a bunch of stuff, figure out a whole personal brand and strategy and everything. And then be like, nah, actually, this isn't right. I want to do a different one. And then I would start all over. So basically, I kept planning. And not only that, I would also spend a lot of money on courses and coaching, like over $20,000 US I spent on different courses and coaching programs. And so that was another way that I was avoiding putting myself in the spotlight, but with a good reason, because you got to realize that our brains want to keep us safe. So they have to give us a good reason why we're not doing the thing. Because if they just tell us, oh, you're just scared, we might actually do it because we're like, I'm not scared, I'm going to do it. But we can lie to ourselves. Our brain lies to us and gives us a good reason. So we don't have to admit to ourselves that we're scared. So it was telling me that, okay, first you got to learn and get better at this. You got to do coaching, you got to do courses, and then you got to develop the strategy. And so I kept working. And basically this process was just repeating itself for years, right? It just do another coaching program, reboot the whole personal brand, and try to come out there. And so for the last few years, I've just kept changing my personal brand. Basically, I was focused on filmmaking, writing, directing until the pandemic. And in that case, I was just more doing networking in the industry. I wasn't doing much online. In retrospect, I wish I had gone all in on YouTube years ago and just been putting out stuff on YouTube. But point being is that once the pandemic shut down the film industry and I decided to move on, that's when I've been trying to build a personal brand online. So it's been like 4 years now that I keep, you know, delaying and procrastinating and reiterating. And so finally it came to about a month ago, and I saw a challenge that someone I follow named Zach Pograb. He put out a challenge about making 30 videos daily in a row, just talking to the camera, no plan, just press record every day and talk to the camera, and that's it. And I decided to accept that challenge because I was like, okay, if there's nothing to plan, then I'm not going to get caught in my planning trap. If I just have to press record and talk, then there's no plan. I can't lie to myself and tell myself, well, I got to come up with a plan, because that's not on the table. It's not part of it. I just have to press record every day and talk. And I'm out of excuses at that point, unless there's something wrong with my mouth or I forgot how to speak English or something. So ran out of good reasons if all I have to do is press record and talk and no plan. And so I've been doing that. Like I said, this is day 34, and just keep, as I've been doing these, and they're all posted on my channel, so you can look back at these videos, and I just kept reminding myself, it doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter if they're good. I'm just going to keep doing them. And they're not perfect. They're definitely rambling, but I'm just going to keep doing them. And as I did them more, I just got more comfortable with it and just less scared of it. But it was just, like anything, you do it every day for a month and it just becomes easier and more comfortable. And I still don't think these videos are any good, but I think there's some value in them. Like, I have some valuable things to say, but because I'm just talking, they're not that good. But this is helping me to do them, because if I was worried about them being good, I wouldn't be able to do them every day, because I would spend so much time planning and writing and rehearsing and memorizing and all that. That's allowing me to keep making them. Now, so I want to break apart this strategy and show you how it could apply in many other ways, right? Because video is not just about, hey, you should sit down and make YouTube videos daily. That might not be the right move for you. But there's like lessons that can apply to many other ways of putting yourself out there. So one thing is starting small and safe. So for example, when I'm uploading videos to YouTube, I don't have a big following. I barely have any following. Not many people are going to see this. You can look at the views on the videos. There are barely any views. So knowing that makes it easier for me, because I'm like, only a few people are going to see this. Probably not going to watch the whole thing. So kind of doesn't matter. It's not there's no stakes, right? It's small stakes, and it's not going to be a big deal. So that's something that I think can be replicated no matter what you're doing, is start with putting out to a few people, small audience, whether you're just uploading to a new account. And that's why I'd recommend, if you're putting this onto a platform, let's say you already have a personal Instagram page or something like that, and you want to start a new personal brand or type of content or whatever, but you're nervous about putting it on your Instagram or your Facebook, where all your friends and family are following you and people at work and all that. So I recommend just starting a new account and just uploading to that new account, because barely anyone's going to see it, right? And this, I think people don't do this because they're in their mind, they're like, no, but I need to build an audience. I don't want to start a new account. I already have an account, or I don't want to put bad stuff out there because I'm trying to build a good personal brand, and how's that going to happen if I put out bad content? Again, that's all the same thing that kept me from putting out content, which is just fear of looking bad in some way, getting judged, getting embarrassed, some kind of negative consequences. And that's just keeping you from putting anything out there. A small audience, low stakes way to put stuff out there. And if we're not talking about online content, we're talking about something in person. Maybe it's something you wrote. You could send it to a few friends, or maybe you're showing a piece of art, or you're doing some stand-up comedy in front of a few friends that are supportive of you. So point is just finding a small audience and a audience that is going to be low stakes, right? There's not going to be bad consequences. So start doing it that. Another thing is these videos, because a lot of people are watching them, they're not about getting that validation, right? A lot of people are putting stuff out there to get validation from likes or views or whatever, but because I'm not expecting any likes or views, I'm not preoccupied with that getting validation, and instead I'm just focused on adding value. I'm trying to say something of value in these videos. They're not just me talking about video games or something like that, just like what I had for breakfast, or these are all, if you look at these videos, you'll see that it's at least an attempt to give value, right? To teach people something that they can get, like life lessons type things that they can get from my experiences and what I've realized as a result of my experiences. Point is to stop focusing so much on getting that validation, which is just, we're always seeking validation as humans, but because we are a social species, a tribal species, so we're seeking validation, but it just becomes so multiplied in the internet era where you can get so much validation, immediate validation, likes, views, and the numbers are getting so high for the bigger accounts that it becomes all about that, and people lose sight of adding value. Start focusing or keep focusing on giving value in whatever you're doing. And value can be just straight entertainment, right? It doesn't have to be education or something super high level. It can just be entertainment. It can be a laugh, but focus on providing that value, the actual laugh, don't focus on that. Focus on entertaining, giving a laugh, and try to get feedback, I think is important too, but real feedback, not from like trolls on the internet. That's not helpful. Try to get it from people you trust so that you can actually see how your stuff is coming across. But don't get too much feedback in the beginning, because that can slow you down. In the beginning, you just need encouragement. So if you're going to let your friends or family or whoever's supportive of that, in the beginning, the feedback you really need is encouragement, right? So because you really just need to get going and get the confidence to keep doing it. Then once you get the confidence and you're in the rhythm, then you can get some more critical feedback to improve your work more. But first, you just need encouragement, and nothing else is really helpful in the beginning. The other thing is that I'm not looking at what I'm putting out there, and I encourage people to do the same, as the final representation of me and my talents. All of these are part of a learning process. All of these current series of videos is a learning process for me to get better. Now, this is not something that I've always done. I learned this the hard way in a sense, because I made a movie, wrote and directed a movie that came out in 2019 on Amazon Prime and Apple TV, if you want to check it out. But I took that as like a final piece, and I judged the movie and myself very harshly, because I was looking at it as that was the final piece in itself, and I wasn't looking at it as one piece in my entire life and process and creative path. But the first movie, right? How could the first movie be the best thing that I can make? That wouldn't even make sense. The first time you do anything is not going to be the best that you can do if you keep working at it. So, but at the time, I was not just at the time, for a few years, I was very harsh on the movie and myself. And it wasn't until more recently I screened it. I went to a screening here in Bali, and this was maybe 4 or 5 years after it had been released. And I sat there with an audience and watched the movie, and it was actually the first time that I enjoyed the movie. It was the first time I enjoyed my movie, because by this time I had let go of this way of looking at it as like the final product or the final demonstration of my talents, and more just like at that time, that's where I was at that time. And it's a continuing process. It's a continuing journey of my creativity and my output and my work and art, right? And so I think that's just really important, to embrace everything you're doing as part of a bigger path, a bigger process, and it's all learning, and you're always getting better, and nothing you put out is ever the best that you're going to be able to put out. It's just where you are at that point in time, and then the next one is better. And don't get too harsh in your judgment of any one piece of work or thing that you do. And the more you put stuff out there, the more confident you get, the more resilient you get, and it just gets easier. And the other benefit, of course, while you're doing it, obviously, is you can, first of all, put more value out there, and you can benefit people's lives. You can add more to the world as opposed to just consuming, which a lot more people are doing these days on social media. For all the social media stuff people are uploading, there's just a lot of people just consuming, and they're not adding value. And I think that human beings are meant to be adding and receiving value consistently. Like everyone is meant to contribute, and everyone's meant to receive. And that's how our species evolved and survived the way it did. So I think we're losing some of that. And the point is to be contributing and adding value in some way. And I know this video is focused on social media content to a large degree, but this applies to any kind of way that you can add value to other people's lives. And you're going to, of course, attract opportunities and collaborators. The more you put your stuff out there, whatever kind of opportunities or collaborations you're looking for, whether that's jobs or creative, artistic collaborations, friends, any of it. And this is going to just enrich your life, essentially, both from the fulfillment of putting your own creations out there and making more stuff and putting it out there and seeing that it benefits to other people's lives. And then, yeah, obviously opportunities will come in for various jobs, collaborations, who knows? And I'm saying who knows because I'm going to find out myself. I'm recording this in the middle of this process. Like I said, I've just been putting myself out there for the last month and a few days. So this is not me on the mountaintop saying, oh, this is how I made it up, and you're going to attract all these jobs and monies and collaborators and beautiful life. That's the idea, but we'll see. So come along with me on the journey, not just as a watcher, as a viewer, but as an active participant. So you do this also. You start putting yourself out there, whatever it looks like, whether it's on YouTube videos like this or any social media or in person or via email, blog, newsletter, whatever your thing is. Come along on the journey with me and start putting yourself out there more, and let's see where it goes, and let's create more cool stuff and add to the world and live a beautiful life. All right. Thanks for watching. Tune back in tomorrow for the next video.